Hi everyone, I am here today with the fabulous Melanie Mills, who is, if you pay attention to who's who's of makeup artists, you would know her name because she's such a special woman. She has had this huge career, and when I first heard about you, it was, I had heard that you were the department head on Dancing with the Stars. And that was back in 2007, right?
I started, yes, in 2007. Basically, I was there for season 2, just helping. And then that department head had to move on to another project. And I remember her telling me, you should go for it. This is perfect for you. I was like, really? Oh my God, this is huge. And my husband at the time was like, do it. You have nothing to lose. And I called up the producers and I said, I don't know if you remember me, but I know what I can do to make this show spectacular, makeup-wise in particular, which is a very important part of that show. So yeah, it was about 2007. So season 3 to season 13 is what I department headed.
Bam! 2008, you won an Emmy.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
It was really awesome. The first time we were nominated, we were still in a category where we were up against single camera shows like CSI New York, Deadwood. So that was really cool because it was a big honor to like suddenly have this like kind of different live television show be put up against these other shows. We lost that year to Deadwood. They totally deserved it. I think it was their last year to get it too. And then the second time that we went in, we had the new category for multi-camera. So now that category is for all multi-camera shows, meaning shows that run with multiple cameras.
Yeah. Well, I know that when I watched the show,
you came and played and helped with
I
us.
did. I know. I was so happy. And that's when I first met you.
Yeah.
But you know, just watching it even at home and then being able to come and play with you, watching it at home, you know, as a makeup artist, when you see great makeup, you're like, whoa, you know, because we're so judgmental. Like, we know what's really good. I have to segue because I was watching The Taste, which was a new show that came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And it was that moment, just like Dancing with the Stars. I turn on the TV and I'm like, okay, it's a cooking show, but boy, their makeup looks really great. I'm like, I'm gonna watch it, see who's the end of the credits, and it was you, and I just knew it. I knew it right away. So talented.
Thank you.
And
we had no time to do those people either, and they had to be real, and you know, we got to do them, and then they kind of had to go without us touching them. So I told them, look, same theory as dancing, you know, pound it on, so that they can last, and get out there.
And that's such a big part of it too, is to not just do a great makeup, but a really lasting makeup. And I think that's when you're a television makeup artist or film makeup artist, mostly TV, you know, that's part of the thing. It's not just putting it on, but how it wears, right?
Yeah, and like the one thing with dancing, you know, I had to kind of train the producers. I was like, look, this isn't 45 minutes in makeup, 45 minutes in hair. This is major. Usually the reason why I brought that up is because on, say, an episodic, which is like an hour-long drama type of show, that female is going to go through the works usually for an hour and a half in the morning, sometimes two, depending on who it is and what's going on. But this was a show that I said that we have to have at least 3 hours, if not 4. So one thing that a lot of people would always say is, God, those people are just so gorgeous, I can't even imagine. Like, honey, there's a huge team of people, huge team. That was the other thing I told the producers. I need a huge team. I need a body makeup department, because one thing is that back in the day, we used to have body makeup artists. In the union, there was an actual section just for body makeup artists. There was, I believe, 9 women. And that eventually just got kind of phased out, as did body makeup. It wasn't as thought of as often anymore. Before, it was like the full package. That's all there was to it. Whether you did the face or not, you did the chest, the arms, the legs, everything else. And then, of course, nude scenes, of course. So I had the awesome opportunity to bring Nadez Schoenfeld on, who was a part of that original body makeup artist union. And, you know, her and I really nailed that department, because the one thing I noticed when I was there season 2, when I wasn't running it, the dancers had so much control and they were so into sunless tanning. I had never even heard of sunless tanning until that show.
Yeah.
And it was a monster, and they would do it every day, twice a day, right before they'd go on the show, use all sorts of different products. It'd be streaky and orange and brown and blotchy, and honestly, I was spending so much time like fixing their bodies so quickly that when I did come on as department head, I made it vital that we have to have a body makeup department, because it's such a huge part of the show. And those girls are obsessed with sunless tanning, which when you use it that often, it can go wrong. Right. And so, yeah, no.
And that's why, right, you created Gleam.
Yes.
And that's why everyone is benefiting from what you went through on Dancing with the Stars, because of that makeup coming off and not laying properly.
Well, the biggest problem I had was, first I had to learn sunless tanning. So I immediately hit up some sunless tanning companies and said, look, train me, let me use your product. First was California Tan, then they went out of business. Then I even took on Jan Tana, which she's really known in the bodybuilding industry, and it's really orange. I talked to her and used her for a year because the girls loved her so much, the pro dancers. But it really is just too orange, and it was just too much, and it just, you know. So then I went on to Saint Tropez, and then what was great about Saint Tropez is I became a brand ambassador for them. I also helped them develop some of their products. So I had a big say in their tanning solutions. I used them exclusively on the show, and then I got to be a part of these fabulous developmental meetings, which helped me now with my current line. So once I nailed the tanning part of it, because that was an absolute must with these girls, I needed to control it somehow as best as I could. You still have absolutely you don't have the control you want, because they'll go in their trailers and sneak more on, or they'll do some the night before, or it just...
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I love this one story. Edita Slawinski, I'm probably saying it wrong. She was one of my favorite dancers. Edita, gorgeous. She was dancing with Jason Taylor, who is African-American. And there was this one show we were going on, and it was like 10 minutes before the live show, and she's like, I refuse to go on until I have more sunless tanning. The day she came to me, I've already given her like 3 coats, it's getting ridiculous. I go over there, I'm like, girl, no more, we're stopping. And Jason's like, I don't get it, you're darker than me. Like, honestly, I really don't, it was really funny. So the body makeup is such a hard part of that show. And so on top of the sunless tanning, you need makeup even on top of it. You really do. Because for one, it's not perfect. It has to be evened out. You want a glow on that show, because their costumes are like rhinestones and just all this stuff going on, and big hair, and, you know, glow in the makeup, lots of glitter, big lashes. So you needed to have the body glow as well and be fabulous on camera. So the
But
body,
you can't have it come off. I mean, that's the whole, I think that's the beauty of your product too.
It's
it
very
stays
transfer
on,
resistant.
You know?
It is. And the cool thing is, though, is that if it does transfer, because it's not waterproof, I don't claim that. It's a makeup, a moisturizer, and a glow all in one. And you can't have a moisturizer and something be good for your body and have it be waterproof at the same time, because waterproofing entails a lot of alcohol, which is very drying to the skin. So my dilemma on this show was finding a body makeup or a makeup that I could use that wouldn't get all over the place, that if it, you know, did transfer, it wouldn't stain. And most of the products out there either have too glittery or shimmery of a finish, not pigmented enough to even out the skin. Color tones just weren't right. I just was having a tough time, and so that's how Gleam was born. So I have a line called Gleam by Melanie Mills. However, it's evolving and rebranding as we speak to Melanie Mills Hollywood, which is really exciting.
I got to see a sneak peek of the packaging, and I won't tell anyone, but it's so great. I just love it.
Thank you.
I like it because it's unique. I never find anything unique. You know, it's all the same stuff, and your packaging is really exciting. It's very fresh.
Thank you.
I love it.
It is exciting. It took a second for me to own Hollywood, even though I'm a 4th generation Hollywood girl. I come from a really strong line of strong women, great grandma was amazing. She used to work with Maurice Chevalier. Her husband was the manager of the Pantages Theater, among many others. They met when she worked at the box office, actually, of one of the theaters.
Oh, that's
He
so
was
cute.
a manager for like Tyrone Powell. I could go on, and he used to travel with all of them, and he kind of was in that transition from theater to film. That was really interesting. And then she was very involved in dance, and then so was my grandmother. And then my grandfather was a famous pianist, and his whole family came from a very rich, entertaining background. So it's been,
So you had no choice to end up being in Hollywood, right?
Yeah. I met with the head of Estee Lauder, which was pretty amazing. That's kind of the goal down the road. And he said, you need to focus on your name and you need to focus on Hollywood right now. That's what nobody else is doing.
It's really funny because I was thinking about you, and I one of the questions I was going to ask is, what's your goal, or where do you go from here, or are you going to be our next Estee Lauder? So I love that you said that, because I was thinking about that this morning.
Well, right now, my big makeup idol is Charlotte Tilbury. I'm absolutely obsessed, and it's crazy. It's one of those things where I keep thinking of things and she keeps making them, kind of thing. I think she's awesome. I love her story. I love everything she's come up with. But yeah, I hope to be the next Bobbi Brown, more glamorous, obviously, Bobbi Brown, but I like her story. She started off with 8 lipsticks. So it's a hustle. It is, and that is the dream, to be the next large, long-living cosmetic line. And so Gleam by Melanie Mills was great. It kind of named itself because the dancers on the show would be like, I'm gleaming. Where's my gleam? Get me the gleam. And I never had no idea what I was getting myself into. I had no idea that it would even turn into what it is today, let alone, of course I always had the dream to have a full color, line, but I never, it's so expensive and this and that. And I just, at first I just thought, I guess, small with just the Gleam product, but then now Melanie Mills Hollywood can grab onto so much more.
Yeah, it's just like organically grown. You put one step in front of the other, and I think because people like your product so much, and we all like you, that it is going to grow, and it is going to become massive.
I hope so. Right now we're completely self-invested with it's my grandmother, my mother, and I. So we're just 4 years down. We've been doing this for 4 years, and we're finally getting to that self-sustaining point. So that's exciting. But I just hope it continues to keep moving and grooving. I've got a lot of stuff planned, stuff that's actually in production right now. It's exciting. It really is. But I really had no idea what I was doing, and I do wish that I had gone to business school.
Well, you're getting an education as you go. I think
you'll that's
be
good
fine.
Advice, though.
Yeah.
Get a little business on the side, no matter what you decide.
But we're
to
artists.
do. I know, right? I know.
But you're running around, you're doing shows, you're making product lines, and then you wrote a book. Mm-hmm. So show us that
This
book.
I'm really, really, really proud of. Way before I even knew I wanted to become a makeup artist, people always ask me, did you know you always wanted to be a makeup artist? And I did not. I never even thought of it as a career. I always loved makeup. I used to watch my grandmothers and aunts and everybody put their face on and then take it off. And I really loved that. I get a lot of my stuff from my grandma. She's very flavorful and bright and colorful, very jazzy. She's tons of jewelry and glittery fun clothes, and she always did her makeup really bright, and she had gorgeous red hair just like yours. And so she is a huge inspiration in my life. And then when I was in high school or whatever, just hanging out, I was always the one that ended up doing everybody's makeup, and my friend always ended up doing everybody's hair. And when I was even younger than that, I was producing music videos. Like, I loved MTV, so I'm like, ooh, let's do a music video. I got all the neighborhood kids on the street together. And I remember getting my first book of Kevin Aquan. And yes. I was like, this is amazing. I go, God, can you imagine having your own makeup book? This would be great. But I still had no idea what I was going to do. I was living in Italy, and I was studying to be an interpreter. And the only reason why I was doing that was because I was hoping to just have a reason to live in Italy.
Hello!
So,
yeah! Okay.
But that was not for me. Kind of a boring job as far as I'm concerned. And so I started just backpacking through Europe basically. And on one of those trips,
were you in full makeup when you were? I just want to know.
You know what?
When you were backpacking?
No, I was way more of a natural girl. Long curly blonde hair. I definitely had my mascara. I definitely had stuff.
Yeah.
It was not full glam.
So
while living in Italy, I met a ton of friends. I went to school there as well, and most of the friends that I went to school with are Swedish and Icelandic and Danish, and I'm still good friends with them to this day. So when I was trying to figure out who I wanted to be, I was waitressing in Simi Valley, and I would waitress for 3 months, save up a bunch of money, and then go backpack for 3 months. And I did that for about 7 years. It was amazing. And on one of those trips, a friend of mine was a model, and she was going in to take a makeup class. And I walked into this gorgeous cathedral in Milan, and basically was like, oh my God, I have to do this. Like, this is, first of all, another just excuse to get over to Italy and live in Italy. And when I realized, like, wow, you can make money doing makeup? Okay, this is cool. Came home, told Grandma about it. She's like, it's such a tough business. Oh God, I really don't want to send you off and spend more money that way. No. And I'm like, oh. So I'm complaining to my hairstylist about it. She goes, you should meet my roommate, Michelle Warner. She's a union makeup artist. Literally met her that night, like randomly actually. She gets a call a few days later to intern on a 6-month film. And she's like, you need to do this. I had never been to makeup school. I had never been on a set. I was freaking out. She drove me down there. The makeup trailer was on Hollywood Boulevard with the Hollywood sign above it. And I was like, this is crazy. I was so scared. I walked in and the girls were so desperate just for a hand to powder puff, basically. Mm-hmm. And so they were like, what's your sign? That was literally my first interview question ever for a film. Really? And I told them I'm Aquarius, and I guess that got me the job. They talked for a second, and they said, okay, we'll give you a shot.
Your water sign, your comp, you'll do. Great.
So they told me to go get a tool belt and to be at work the next day. I think it was 412, and I thought, what the hell? Oh my God, 412? What is that, first of all? You know,
I still don't know what that is. 442, 412, 5 o'clock.
So I go and I get a tool belt from Home Depot, literally, and show up in platform shoes, all cutesy, the whole 9 yards, and learned very quickly after a 16-hour day that you don't wear platforms like that to work.
I didn't know.
You might.
No one ever told me that.
Like rocking it. I was like, woo. But that film, I ended up working the whole thing, and it was great. I did take a quick night course, and then the hairdresser on that film just continued to bring me on and on and on.
God, isn't that awesome?
It was amazing.
What a great ride.
Everything kind of fell in my lap. I did horror film after horror film for 3 years. The Dentist 2, The Wishmaster, anything that started with the. I got pulled over once and had blood all over me at 7 a.m. and the cop was like, ma'am, get out of the car. I'm like, no, officer, it's fake baby blood. It was hilarious. I got out of the ticket, actually, that way.
I love that.
But the book, we were talking about the book earlier, so when I didn't even know I wanted to be a makeup artist, I fell in love with Kevin Aquan's book, and I just thought, how cool.
I did too.
Oh, I mean, really, there's still to this day, all of his books like my faves.
Wonderful.
And so he was just an idol of mine. While on Dancing with the Stars, I would talk to people like, God, Brandy, like, I love your neck. I can just see you as like a Cleopatra type, you know? And she'd be like, let's do it, Mel. Let's do a shoot. I'm like, really? Now, actually, that was a little bit fast forwarded because what happened is I started getting good response from the girls. Like, I would do a shoot. I would love to do a shoot with you. Oh my God, da-da-da-da-da. So I found this amazing photographer who was into this idea of me blowing glitter on Kim, Karina, and Anna from the pro dancers of Dancing with the Stars. I wanted them to be nude and gilding like gold, and then where I'm like blowing glitter on them. And they did it. We did it. It was awesome. So once I had that shot to start showing everybody else in the trailer, it was like, I'm in, I'm on. So the minute I would have, like, say, Brandy say, yes, I would absolutely do that for you, I'd book it within weeks and get it done, because in this business things change and move, and then managers might get involved, or, you know, so the minute you have that opportunity. So I actually do have 13 celebrities in the book that range from my friends on Dancing with the Stars to my friends on Nickelodeon, because I also do a lot of Nickelodeon shows as well. And Penguin published it. That was another like big goal of mine. I didn't want to be self-published. I wanted to have a real publishing house publish it. And I love it. It's a makeup guide, and it's really fun.
It's beautiful.
Really colorful. It's got a lot of my tips and tricks, and it goes from natural to body makeup to the gleam, and just full-blown production.
And this you can get at, I know on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, right?
Or at my website, gleambymelaniemills.com. And it's got color, it's got fantasy.
It's gorgeous.
I did, like, this is actually definite, this is supposed to be, Raquel Welch from 10 million BC. Why am I blanking? Yeah, 10 million years BC, which Kevin Aquan did as well. And I'm blanking on who he did it with, but he recreated that look. So Kevin was my inspiration for this book. I didn't mimic it completely, but there you can get glimpses of the inspiration throughout.
Right.
And it's just really fun. And I think it's an easy read, and I've been told it's an easy read too. So check it out.
Yeah, if you want to be a makeup artist, and if you just appreciate beautiful makeup, that is the book. You need to find that. Buy it right away.
Thank you.
So I have a question. You had said that you had done, you wanted to run around and do music videos, and you always liked makeup, and you'd watch, your grandmother and stuff take off the makeup. And was there ever anything else that you thought of doing, or do you think this was absolutely your destiny? Because it sounds, from me, just listening to you, it sounds like, you had to end up in this position.
Yeah, it's like, really weird how it was kind of destined. Growing up, I mean, I didn't want to be a doctor. I didn't want to be a lawyer. I wanted to do something creative. I still, I love producing, so I got to produce an entire book. My photographer wants me to direct, so that was actually cool because I got to direct.
Well,
I got
you ran departments.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. You like to be in charge.
I do.
Yes, you do.
I do actually. With that book as well on YouTube, Gleam by Melanie Mills, I have a channel, and I have a lot of behind the scenes videos of the book. So that's a lot of fun. Check it out. But yeah, I think I did a big Gleam campaign too, 4 days where we even rented El Matador Beach, big campaign, 20 models. I love that. So yes, I love makeup, and I love creating makeup. I love creating a line of makeup. It's just fun. It's super inspirational. I'm not in love with the business side of it, and I can't wait to get to that point where that part can be passed off.
Right.
Because that's really tedious, and it kind of gets in the way of the inspirational making of things, but I love that, and I love kind of producing, creating, directing, these photo shoots. I can see that as a big path in the future as well. So I would love to do that too. But yeah, no, I can't really think, other than being wanting to be an interpreter and wanting to travel the world and be in Italy. Italy was a huge thing of my life. And what's ironic is that I used to love and stare and stay in the plazas and just look at the statues. I loved all the art, but the statues always, had something special to them to me. And then it's interesting that my line started off with a body makeup.
Yes.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
So things do just kind of fall in your lap. You have to kind of take the bull by the horns and go for it once you have it. You can't rely on complete karma.
Well, tell me then, speaking of that, if there was someone out there that was a young, person that wanted to be a makeup artist and had that passion, what would be some advice that you would give them?
This is what I tell people. First let's start off with this. I had the opportunity to do David LaChapelle's makeup, the photographer. Another major inspiration of mine. His books I have as well. I mean, talk about productions and all of that. Woo, love this guy. So I got called to do his makeup early on in my career. I remember being so nervous, and I remember we had snow in LA that day. People were hitting and driving all over the place like crazy, and I was like, I'm gonna get there, and I did. And it was at his studio, which was amazing. He still had sets up from his book. It was just like, oh. Anyways, I have all my makeup laid out, and he comes in and he goes, well, do you know how to contour me? And this was before, nowadays, YouTube with this kind of heavy contour stuff going on, which is cool, and it's all magical in a certain sense, but you know, I still hadn't really grasped it or really knew about it. You know, you learn a little bit in school, but, you know, not the extreme of it. And so he picked up a brown pencil and just started like etching into his face. And I'm just like sitting there like, wow. And then he buffed it all out and it was amazing. And that was just kind of my first like, oh my God, the power of makeup, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, it was natural looking though at the same time. Anyways, we get him on camera and I had to be in the room with him while he was interviewing, and they said, how did you become a photographer? He said, you know what, I was living in New York and I remember seeing somebody doing photography one day, and I thought to myself, how cool, I want to be a photographer. I went and I got the cheapest camera I could, had some business cards made, and basically started telling everybody I was a photographer. That resonated. Like, how easy, how awesome. I mean, it's not easy, but it's like, you know, in order to make something happen, you have to do it. You have to go for it. So I tell aspiring makeup artists all the time, do your makeup on yourself all the time. Do your mom, do your cousin, do your sister, do makeup. Just do it, do it, do it. Nowadays, you guys have this wealth of information with these YouTube channels and Instagram stuff and all this tutorial. That was never around. We had to pay to go and learn. Or just be on set and intern and just be, we didn't have all this awesome stuff. Not to mention we didn't have all the amazing products that are available out there that are so much more revolutionary. We had to work with a lot of stuff that just, we had to make it work, basically. So watch as many of these YouTube videos, you know, take classes, go to Mac, sign up for a class. You can do just little pop-off classes all the time. Now, there's a difference between like an Instagrammer that's been doing their own makeup for a long time that does a class. That's cool, and I'm sure you're gonna probably learn something from it, but I would search out the pros that have been doing it for years and years, and just start taking classes, start doing your makeup, get a business card, start working up your kit, start telling people you're a makeup artist.
Yeah, that's good. That's very Hollywood. I actually drive a truck. No, I'm a makeup artist. Here's my card. Melanie said I got one made.
Yeah, I mean, finesse it.
I know. So, I want you to complete this thought. My job is...
Oh, wow. So many things just came to my head. My job is to make somebody look fabulous on camera. Either make them look horrific or make them look fabulous, and make them comfortable and happy while the day and the job is happening. I guess that's one of the first things that came to my head.
That's so true, and so much is a part of how they feel and how you interact and the energy that you bring to it, and calming people and all that.
Yeah, no, the actors, models, bride, whoever it is that you're dealing with, you are the first person that they're going to see, and you're going to set the tone for their wedding, for their photo shoot, or for their debut, or their just being in front of camera. So there's so much to it that's so beyond even just being a good makeup artist. It's also having a personality that's easygoing and fun, but also not the spotlight, because they don't want that either. They want to be the spotlight.
Right.
And then you've got to care and take care of this person for sometimes 12, 15, 18 hours a day, sometimes 6 days a week, sometimes for years.
And that's right. And if you do a really good job with it, this over here, can you pick that up? We have to get a nod. Oh, see. That's what you can win if you do a really good job with all that stuff.
This really was a dream come true. Awesome. I'll never forget that feeling ever. And then once you win, you want more. It's been a ride. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, you've had an incredible career and so much more to come. And I for one will be the first in line to buy all your products. I'm very excited.
Thank you. Get your Gleam on. Check me out on Instagram at Gleam_Melanie Mills, or my YouTube channel, Gleam by Melanie Mills. And join the party and have fun. Be Gleamalicious.
Gleamalicious. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So fun.
So happy that we got to sit down and do this, and I got to learn more about you and your whole wonderful world. It's
Thank
really
you.
Great. Thanks, you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for joining in, and please like and subscribe.